Hey, how's it going, everyone? It's been a while since I've done a figure boxing of this type of a 6-inch scale, S.H.Figuarts, Figma, whatever type of figure like this. So I want to try and get back to your routine, clear a little bit of my figure backlog. So we're going to take a look at two figures in one that I've been sitting on for a little bit of time now. The game's actually 1 year old. This is from Tekken 8. These are S.H.Figuarts of the Tekken 8 version of Jin Kazama on the left and Kazuya Mishima on the right. Tekken is one of my favorite fighting game series. Street Fighter is above that. And I've just been sitting on these two. These came out sometime in 2024, so it's now 2025. And yeah, like I said, hopefully trying to make some progress in my backlog. I have to say though, I haven't really been playing Tekken 8 since it's been 1 year. I haven't really played much of it. I did the story mode and a bit online, and that was kind of it. But these are the two so far released of the S.H.Figuarts. This is a side profile view, which is pretty cool. You've got a CG artwork of Jin Kazama and Kazuya Mishima on the left, on the spine, sorry. And he's on the right. And then you've got the back side of each box showing a few of the kind of poses that you can get them into. They are pretty light when it comes to option parts. We can tell from, well, this here and just from the window, there's not much to them. He's looking pretty good though, because again, they're both going to be based on their Tekken 8 iterations. And I really like that he's always got a suit underneath and then he's got another jacket on top with the scale kind of texture on there, which looks really good. This is the other profile of the box view. And then the top, let's just get that sandwich like so. You got the top with Kazuya. Second one is going to be Jin with their same colors as well, so red and purple for Kazuya. And this is the bottom as well. So pretty nice matching boxes, you could say. There are actually more of these characters coming out. They've already been announced. So we've got King announced, Nina announced. King looks really good, by the way. I think there's one thing I didn't like about him, but we'll go into that later. Nina, and then I think there may be one more. But so far, yeah, these two are the ones in hand. Let's get them open and see what they're all about. We've got Jin on the left and then we've got Kazuya on the right. Now we're going to go through the option parts first and then we'll get into the figures. I've had a little bit of fun with them just kind of off the bat, but let's get into that more later on. Skip ahead if you want to jump into the figures or any specific parts. I'll have chapters on there anyway. So we're going to start with Kazuya. Let's start with Kazuya because he's kind of OG. So option hand part. So he's got one hand like this, which is just going to be more of a choke hand like so. And Kazuya with his red iconic gloves, I guess, well, to me, iconic. They're pretty much what he's been using since Tekken 1. You got the studs on the reverse side here. Now, these are based, of course, on Tekken 8. So you've got some extra kind of trimmings or design choices that they've done here with the kind of black parts here. And then this is the palm side of it. So you can see a bit of red as well on the underside. And then most of the palm is just black. But it looks pretty good, actually. So you can feel the raised bumps on those. So all the hands are going to use that kind of effect. That's a choking hand one. You get a pair of open palm hands like this, again, with the same sort of gloves that he's wearing in Tekken 8. And then, before I forget, you get the fists on him as well. And then you've got these kind of additional choke or grab hands as well, again with the same gloves. Looks good. The colors are all good on all of them, and the paint is pretty decent for all of them as well. Nothing too crazy or negative to talk about with those. I like those hands. We've got two different head parts, or two additional head parts with this Kazuya. So I think I changed the head actually by default, I believe. No, I didn't. So the default one we'll get into in a second. So in my right hand, we've got one where he's looking to the left, slightly upwards, ever so slightly. And the details on the face are generally quite good. I do like the sculpt of these two additional heads for sure. They look very, very good. His eyebrows, the bushy eyebrows that he's been sporting since Tekken 1 look great as well. You can see the scar across his face, so it's a bit faint here and then it gets a bit deeper on the left side, which is good attention to detail, and you'll see that on both or all three of these heads, and we'll show the third one later on as well. The one in my left hand is just him kind of yelling a little bit, or mouth wide open. You can see the teeth there as well. So in general, it does look pretty good, especially once you've got it on, and these are definitely better in my opinion, or at least on my unit, better than the default head, which we'll get into. Hair sculpt is decent as well, for the most part is decent. It's got that kind of streamlined I guess Vegeta-esque hair, but you know, it is Kazuya's hair. It's what he's known for as well. So he's got very streamlined, slicked back hair. On this one, you can see on mine the seam a little bit here, which it's not too bad. It's fine given the price and the size of it. It's all fine. It gets the job done. But in general, I do like these two additional head sculpts. I think they were pretty good and well done. Maybe show you the ears a little bit, but yeah, it's fine. They're pretty good. So he doesn't come with too much in terms of, well, he doesn't come with any effect parts necessarily. He does also come with the stage part, which I've just got to the side here. So he comes with Urban Square If you remember from the game, so it's basically Times Square. Let me just kind of do both. So you get two pieces of these. You get the left and right piece that join together, that you can stand up. Personally, I don't really like these. They are fine to include, but it's just a bit of a hassle to kind of use. And the print quality is decent on them. But it's basically what we saw for the S.H.Figuarts Street Fighter line as well. They've just done the same thing for these two guys as well. So in his case, he gets Urban Square. That's covering the option parts for Kazuya Mishima for the time being here. Let's quickly jump onto Jin Kazama's parts, and then we'll get into the figures for both of them. Similar to his dad, he's got the fists already applied on him there, and then he's got a pair of relaxed palm hands like so, which look good. He's wearing his gloves naturally, so you've got again the studs on the reverse side, which feel good, look good, nice kind of silver accents to them. You got the red underside or red padding as well that wraps around, and you got the black palm side as well, which looks good. Finger and skin tone looks decent as well. Got a bit of black on my one here, but it looks pretty decent from natural viewing angle. Again, same thing for the left one, and then we'll go into the next pair of hands. So he's got these hands, which again, a bit of a martial arts hands that you can use in different kind of ways, relaxed way if you want, mid-action, really is up to you how you use it. Again, using the cool gloves that he's got. His gloves are always changing depending on the game. Personally, I think I still have a soft spot for his Tekken 3 kind of gloves, but I also really like his Tekken 5 gloves. His Tekken 5 gloves were really sick. And then we've got open palm hands or karate chop. Not exactly karate chopping hands, actually. So the fingers are spread apart a little bit, but not quite as much as Kazuya's, which I'll kind of show you here. So Kazuya on the right, and then we've got Jin on the left. So slightly different. Going on to his two additional headpieces. So on the left, we've got the default one, I believe. Yeah, this is the default one on the left. And he's just kind of looking straight ahead. And then on the right, we've got him with his mouth wide open. On the right, I'm not a huge fan of it. I think the head on, it just looks a little bit weird. I just don't really like the mouth scoped too much. It's not the end of the world, but just not my favorite one by any means. But that's that one. And then on the left again, he's just looking straight ahead. He also is having his iconic eyebrows, which are slightly different to Kazuya's ones. I used to draw these guys a lot, so I kind of know that their eyebrows and hair, of course, was different as well. Speaking of hair, we've got the fringe, the bangs that Jin's got here. Just going to push these on a little flex bit. I actually really like the bangs on this, and I think like the way that the pictures might turn out for what you might see online, sometimes it doesn't look as good, but actually in person and the angle, it's actually quite good. I'm going to kind of talk a little bit about this because it's one of my pet peeves when it comes to Jin Kazama figures. I'm very particular about his bangs when they make whatever figure it is, whether it's Tekken 3, 4, 5, whatever. And oftentimes, like I think Storm Collectibles does this as well, is guilty of it, where it's too flat, right? Even if you look at it in the profile view, here it's not flat. It has this raised part to it. It curves nicely. From the front, it looks pretty decent as well. It's just got a nice flow to it. Whereas oftentimes, a lot of manufacturers, probably because they don't want to have something like this easily damaged, it tends to be something that can break or it just looks flat. And like someone slicked his hair down and it just looks really, really ugly. So I'm actually really impressed with this one. It looks pretty good. Now, obviously with a bigger statue, like if we're talking like, I don't know, Prime 1 tier statue, you're going to get much better hair sculpt. But for the size of this figure, 12-inch figure, I really actually do like the way that the bangs have turned out. The rest of his hair, though, is got that slightly more textured look, more spiked look versus Kazuya's. So the bangs are a bit more inspiration from his mum, Jin Kazama, and then the rest is a bit more of a textured look. Wouldn't say unkempt, I just really like it, to be honest. But yeah, I like the bangs that they've done for him there. I think they was pretty good. Again, no effect parts for Jin here either, but he does also come with the stage backdrop. So this is Yakushima, right? So pretty much where it's a Kazama area. It's really kind of nice stage. Nice music, if I remember. I tend to use it for my training stage, I guess, because it's a bit more open. But that's what you get with these two. Now we can go into the actual figures. Now, I'm a terrible fan. I actually don't remember the exact height of Jin and Kazuya. I think they're probably both like 5'11", 5'10", or something like that. I could be wrong. But generally, from what I remember in the game, they stand pretty level in height, and they stand pretty level here as well. Build-wise, they're pretty similar as well. Occasionally, Jin looks a bit bigger depending on what he's wearing, and then Kazuya, again, it very much varies. But in general aesthetically, both look pretty decent. There's some choices here and there that I'm not a huge fan of, but I can see why they went for it. You know, given the kind of size and cost, it looks pretty good though. Now let's start with Kazuya here. Jin's kind of taken a fall there. I'm gonna put Jin in the background, turn him around so don't get any focus issues. Now Kazuya, his coat straight away is probably the bit that stands out the most in a positive way for me. I really love the texture look to his coat. It just looks so good. The different texturing that you got, or the kind of sculpting that you got down this section here, symmetrical, right? So we just talked on this side here, this slightly different pattern work here versus the grain or the scale look here that goes all the way down. It just looks so good. It's a very nicely done coat. It's not soft goods. It is got a flexible plastic to it, so it does limit articulation a little bit, or it might look a little bit awkward in some poses. But in terms of just the way it looks generally, I love it. You've got these flaps here as well, which look good. They're not on wires. That's one thing I think could be improved, maybe in this figure or another 1/6 scale, whoever makes that, Rocket Toys hopefully, I don't know, putting wires on here to kind of give it a bit more of a dynamic look. But in general, again, the type of figure it is, Tamashii Nation's S.H.Figuarts figure, I really like what they've done with this coat. It just looks so good. His cuffs as well, different texture, almost like a stone, older dragon scale looking thing. Looks really good. You got the inside of the collar, you can see there. I'm gonna undo his arms. You can see, so a lot of detail actually just on the coat alone. And then of course he's wearing his suit underneath that, and the waistcoat underneath that as well. Of course you can't take any of this off, but it does look good. So you got all of that sculpted in, so you got the whole suit jacket sculpted on there. I actually don't remember if his he doesn't have the, is it the, I forgot the name of that part of the suit, so bad. The lapel collars, is it different for this suit? It's not really a typical Western suit collar, right? Anyway, yeah, so he's got that, his tie plus tie clip there. You can see what the tie clip is. It just looks like a pattern, just generic kind of pattern there. But it looks very good. Collared shirt underneath, the red or burgundy looking or maroon looking waistcoat as well underneath as well. It looks good. Single button done for the blazer, and then you got the pants, like so, a couple of crease crease sculpt lines there, and then down at the where the shoes go. His shoes are looking nice and clean as well. For those that don't know, fun fact, this guy likes to collect sneakers. Might even extend to formal shoes as well. So these are very nice looking shoes. Let's be honest, Kazuya wears very cool suits in all of the games that he's been wearing suits. He just looks very cool. I think it was like ever since Tekken Tag Tournament 1, like the intro where he had a really cool looking suit on without the texture jacket. But yeah, in Tekken 8 they've kind of gone with a very scaled look. You've got the strap as well here. You can see this, I don't believe comes on. It's kind of sculpted onto the top part of the jacket because you've got the extra articulation here. There's a couple of ball joints here and here where my thumbs are kind of pressing. You've got ball joints there which do allow for some sort of articulation, kind of swing it out a little bit, but it does kind of come off a little bit on mine. We'll talk about that more soon. But then yeah, I didn't mention his neutral head sculpt. So this is the neutral one. Now it's not bad. The sculpt in general is pretty decent. It's very similar to the other ones. Just for me though is the eyes kind of look like he's got a cold. He's suffering from a cold for some reason, like especially around like the furrowed eyebrows, but it just looks a bit dull and like he's sick. So poor Kazuya Mishima getting a little bit of a flu or a cold there. Hope he gets better. But yeah, this is a very cool looking figure. Just the way it looks is very good. I really liked it in the promo shots and in hand. Like when you feel this guy's jacket, it's nice. It's a very nice figure. Oh, sorry, let's talk about articulation as well. Yeah, so articulation wise, now of course you're going to get a little bit of limitation straight away because of the collar standing up, so you can't really look up that much. Looking down like so, and then of course a bit of side to side and then twisting, so pretty good there. His arms are decent, but you've got a little bit of this kind of flap thing here that doesn't really move. So you can lift his arm up about there. I think mine might be a little bit stuck. I feel like some of my joints are a little bit on the stiff side, but I'll just show you what I can show you. So here are his arms. They don't really cross over, unfortunately, so you can't really do a proper folded arms look, which is a bit of a shame. It's the same problem with Jin as well. You can twist it here too. The elbow joint looks pretty decent here. There is a twist also, I believe it was, yeah, here there's a twist. I think it's like it's a bit similar to the fighting bodies that they use for Street Fighter. And you got the usual wrist movement here, which is nice. He doesn't have flurry like cuffs, so he's got pretty good wrist movement in general. Torso wise, so this one, hopefully you can see this because you've got the cut at the belly there, and you've also got this cut around, as I mentioned earlier on, with his jacket. So you can twist there, and you can also twist below as well, so hidden underneath, as you would expect at the waist. So you can twist at the waist as well, so get even extra twist. And if you've ever paused when he does the hell sweep, he looks broken. His body looks twisted and broken just to get to the hell sweep. So you can mimic that if you want to. But yeah, he's got the twist nicely there. Now, obviously, if you do that, you misalign a lot of the kind of coat. Play around with it, and you might be able to line it up a bit. But sometimes, yeah, you'll probably notice that in some of my B-roll footage that the coat's misaligned a bit. So it's just kind of what's the word? Something that kind of comes with the territory, right? It's fine, but it still looks pretty decent. You can bend in, pretty decent, like so, and then bending backwards. I actually can't remember. Let's see how far. Yeah, bending backwards is pretty good. Yeah, he's pretty good. He can get knocked out by anyone. Legs then splits nicely, so he can do his hell sweeps and side kicks and all sorts pretty decently. He can do his, I forgot the name of it, but basically the axe kick pretty decently. It's not super close to his body as you would expect in the game, because he has to kind of pancake in forward as well, but it's close enough, pretty decent. You've got the twist at the top here. Mine's a little bit on the stiff side, hopefully you can see that. And then the bend at the knee. His knee is pretty decent. It doesn't look ugly. I like that. And then the usual ankle as well. Ankle is maybe slightly, ever so slightly restricted there because of his flared pants on the cuffs, but it's decent. And you got the toe hinge to finish things off. I also should mention the bottom of his shoes are also gloss finish. So maybe that might cause some difficulty depending on what do you call it? Where you got him stood, you might slip. But yeah, it's pretty good overall. Articulation in general is decent. I did mention the tails of his jacket. So let me see if I can show you that. So you can see, you can move this here. But that's what happens to mine. This one actually tends to come off a bit, and it's a bit awkward to get it on. I do like the purple peg joints, by the way. They are a nice color. They didn't necessarily have to be, given that they're not really visible down there. But yeah, getting it back on, you just have to really force it back. I didn't really enjoy this experience too much, to be honest. Again, it's usually this side of mine that comes off. But otherwise, articulation is decent. He has some restrictions here and there, but it's pretty good. You can, of course, get him into his, I don't know, you want to do an what is it? Electric Wing Godfist, right? Let's do the other side, actually, so you can see what he's doing. Actually, the Electric Wing Godfist doesn't look as nice on this figure as you would kind of think it would look, because it's kind of a boring just uppercut, right? That's what he's basically going to be doing. Now you can Photoshop some electricity effects on here, raise him a little bit if you want, but that's basically all he's doing. If you want, you could do the dragon uppercut where he's got his arm more extended, which is basically like the Shoryuken, right? But again, it looks kind of boring when you do it. Play around with the head movements as well, arms up a bit. He could do the axe kick, as I mentioned. The axe kick is pretty good, or the flying kick. The flying kick is pretty decent. You can get into a decent flying kick pose. Prefer doing it this way. Let's just go this way. Actually, both Jin and him can do pretty decent flying kick poses. So try and get this on him. So you can mimic a few of the kind of iconic moves that he's got in game and opening animations that he does pretty easily. But some of them do look a little bit stiff, right? Like, so as I mentioned, his Electric Wing Godfist does look a little bit on the stiff side, if I'm completely honest. But I think it still looks okay. Just play around with the position based on other figures as well. But yeah, you can get a few decent poses out of him. I'm going to stand him up and get him ready so he can view Jin getting all touched up and manhandled by me. So, sounds wrong, I know. But he's pretty good. Overall, he's pretty good, I would say. Let's just get him stood up. Yeah, he's pretty good, I would say. Articulation-wise for Jin, who we're now going to talk about, is very similar, to be honest. We'll get into that, but we'll probably gloss over that much more quickly. So, aesthetically, for Jin, I don't like him as much as the Kazuya one. He's not bad. He still looks pretty good. It is clearly based off of Tekken 8, that outfit that he's got on that. I think The issue I have here is Jin's outfit in Tekken 8 is very leathery in texture, and here they've just gone with a plain texture. In which case, I don't know, I just kind of would have preferred like a more, maybe it's asking too much, a soft goods jacket. I think it's asking too much, to be fair. But maybe having that texture or grain on it would have been good. And I think something like Rebel or someone like Rebeltech would have added that grain. And they've added it there for Kazuya, so I don't know why they didn't add the leather effect to Jin's jacket. It feels a bit of a missed opportunity. That said, they've added the other details though, so you've kind of got this kind of wing motifs happening across the back of his jacket and down into the sleeves as well, which look really nice. The color breakings as well is really good as well. So you got the black parts, the white parts, the red parts. All looks very good. I'm not a huge fan of this outfit, by the way, in the game. Especially like his Tekken 3 outfit and Tekken 4 in the white version is white karate outfit specifically is like the best that he's ever looked. And then Tekken 5, basically shirtless Jin is what I'm talking about. Yeah, so you've got the jacket, which is basically the standout part of him. He does have the hood that comes underneath, so creeps out from the collar there. You can see the hood is there as well. And then he's got the shirt underneath, two low-cut V-neck shirt with some textured elements on there as well, and sculpted elements too. Then we come down to the pants, where he's got the crazy-looking belts, or double, triple, whatever belts that he's got wrapped around his waist that fall down, and then attached to a bit more belts, which look like they're on zippers actually. Not active zippers on this figure, but they're sculpted zippers at the kind of towards the groin, upper thigh part. And then you've got the strap that follows down here. This is on a little ball peg here. It does come off sometimes. Just plug it back in and it's fine. You can twist it a little bit to make it look a little bit more dynamic and flowing, but not too much. But that's, yeah, his pants. You've got a bit of sculpted pockets here and there as well. And then I think it's supposed to look a bit more like knee pads, but the knee joint kind of breaks that illusion or that idea a bit. Then we've got his boots. His boots look much better in game. Here they look a bit too plain and merge with his pants a bit too much in my opinion. But the sculpting is not too bad on them. I think they could have maybe done a little bit more leather grain or some work there. They're definitely not as cool as Kazuya's nice slick shoes. Those formal shoes just look so good, so good. The gloves or his gauntlets, because we don't see the top part in the option parts, so he's got slightly different molding for Tekken 8. Again, I really liked his Tekken 5 one, so maybe we'll see a Tekken 5 version figure one day. So you got the outer part with the sculpt lines there, and it's all textured. You can feel what I can feel. And then this is the inner part, which is very similar to what he's had since like Tekken 3 pretty much. So he's got the strap, and then yeah, we've got the studded back part of the hand part. So that's pretty much aesthetics for him. This head sculpt, so I love this face a lot. This face is so good. Similar to Kazuya Mishima, he's looking to the left slightly. Very good. I think the light on mine is maybe casting a little bit too much shadow on him, but I like it. The bangs again look pretty good on this. I didn't mention it on the other heads, but actually his sideburns are probably the bit that I don't like too much. They're just weirdly done. I don't know why they picked the sideburns like this. Not a deal breaker, but it's a strange choice. But yeah, this face looks pretty good. I think you can have it, in that stoic position, or that position I had him in the beginning, where he's kind of looking off to the side to his father. So I liked that kind of look overall. But yeah, that's the aesthetics for him. Articulation for him is pretty much the same. I'll quickly show it to you, but I won't dwell on it too much. He does also have the same restrictions, pretty much. The fold, by the way, is also really bad for him. So, or crossing of his arms, it just doesn't happen. So there's a few points, especially like his Tekken 5 pose, when he gets into stances, it's really difficult to get them as close as you would really like. But otherwise, he's got this twist and whatnot, elbow, hands, got the twist at the top and the bottom. So you can get really nice kind of kick poses out of him, nice and easy, kind of showing you that. Obviously, with his one though, is slightly different from Kazuya's. The joint is a bit different. I don't know if you can see, just bring them both out. Ever so slightly different. If you look at Kazuya's left leg and then Jin's right, it's tiny bit different the way it works. But yeah, he can get into some nice kind of ready kick poses, knee bend here like so, and then you can, as I mentioned, play around with this strap to give it a bit more of a motion look to it. But yeah, this guy looks very good. Oh, I always forget to do the soles of the shoes. He's got sculpted grips on the bottom of his shoes as well, so it looks pretty solid. Yeah, that's basically it for his articulation. He's got some stiff looking moves as well, again, because he's got his version of the electric wind god fist, which is like slightly different, where he does the how is it go? Yeah, he does, instead of doing uppercut, he kind of almost does it sideways, right? So let me try and get that one done. Doing it all on camera is a little bit more harder. The amazing makes it look really easy, right? Yeah, so there's a few things where, like, even the elbow, actually, let me show you, like, the bend here is about 90 degrees max. I personally prefer a little bit closer, more than 90 degrees, because of what his karate style changes from Tekken 4, right? So it's just, he has a few different poses where his arms tend to be a bit more bent, but you can't really do that and with this. So yeah, this is kind of his version of it versus what Kazuya does, which is a bit more upwards. What else does he do? Flying kicks, simple for him to do as well. But yeah, he gets into pretty much the same poses that Kazuya can, because obviously they share similar Mishima style karate. And then the Kazama style stuff, he can do some of those. I just can't remember those off by heart of what he tends to do for those. But a lot of those are like pose based ones, right? So what was that pose he does? I'll change the hands in just a second, by the way. He usually has his hands like this, right, or something. Yeah, and then he usually like leans back on one of his stances, and then he does this, what is it, that cartwheel kick thing that he does, right? That everyone does. All the newbie players always kind of do this stance, and then he goes, whoa, knocks you up, baps you up like that, and then the kick thing, little cartwheel kick, and back down. Yeah, I know that move. I keep eating it, but that's Jin there. So swapping parts, that's pretty standard for both of them. Let's kind of show you Jin on a couple and then Kazuya for the other. So just pull it off. S.H.Figuarts tend to be pretty good with me. I still have not broken an S.H.Figuarts joint in all this time. What hand should I go with? Let's go with this one. Yeah, I have not broken a peg for an S.H.Figuarts hand. Touch wood, this will not happen now, because that would be mighty embarrassing. Come on. This is a bit easier before. Suddenly, the hand does not want to go on. Can we get it on? Come on. There we go. There's that done. And I'm going to take off his head as well. I'm going to do the yelling phase because it's pretty obvious what's changed there. Yeah, again, just yank it off and plug it back on. It's so easy to do. Very, very easy. I'm going to pose him up here. Get him like so. You killed my mother, I think. Or you left my mother. What did you do to my mother? You left me. Okay, look at him stood up. I think they kind of kindled the entire relationship after Tekken 8, right? I still need to finish the individual stories. Here we've got Kazuya just going to take off his head. Again, just yank it off. The collar might get in the way of your fingers. Let's do his head as well. I'm not going to do the hands just because that's easy and I like these hands already. So here we've got Kazuya again with his different alternate head. And then arguing. Just the whole Mishima argument's always happening before they get into a bigger fight and yeah, volcanoes erupting and whatnot. But yeah, that's Jin Kazama on the left and Kazuya Mishima on the right. So as I mentioned, both of these figures look pretty good. I especially like Kazuya's jacket. I think that's a standout thing for me. Just that textured look. The color on it, of course, also looks mighty, mighty impressive. So good job to the sculptors for the work on that coat. It just looks absolutely awesome. In general, Kazuya is my favorite one of the two. But yeah, the Jin is not a bad figure at all either. Now, personally, you know, I'm going to have my favorite kind of default outfits from previous games. And for Jin, it's going to be usually the shirtless ones from Tekken 3 in particular and Tekken 5. But with Kazuya, I do like what they've gone with here. And I'm curious to see more of the kind of figures releasing from the Tekken 8 line. Because I know they're doing other figures like Nina and King. King looks pretty good so far from the promo shots. So it remains to be seen if I'll get those figures. But so far, these two are pretty good. There are a lot of Tekken characters that I guess I could rank maybe on who I would really want. It's a bit hard because we've got Kazuya who I really like a lot. Xiaoyu, I guess. There we go. Just Xiaoyu. I would take Ling Xiaoyu. They've got an Nendoroid of her from Good Smile Company. Maybe we'll see Ling Xiaoyu as an S.H.Figuarts. But that's the Kazuya Mishima and Jin Kazama S.H.Figuarts look. Let me know what you guys thought about these two figures, and I'll see you next time.